Hi, I'm Rebecca Sibbett, and today I'm going to spend some time talking to you about an area of digital that isn't immediately obvious. When most people think of digital, they think of tech startups, they think of IT, and they think of web developers, people who quite clearly spend a lot of time in a technical environment. However, I actually work for a charity. I work for a charity called HIV Scotland, and I don't have any sort of tech or digital in my job title, and I'm a communications coordinator. My job is responsible for how we speak to our different audiences, and this might be people affected by HIV, people at risk of HIV, people working in the HIV field, so NHS workers, and also the media and the public. Although I don't have anything about digital in my job title, a huge part of my role is spent in digital communications. And in some places, this is actually a full-time job. Digital communications covers things like websites, newsletters, social media, sometimes things like creating apps. Basically, any online platform we speak to people. Charities use digital every single day and in almost all the work they do. The people they want to reach and connect with are online, so they have to be too. Most charities use digital for campaigning, lobbying, raising awareness, information provision, and also fundraising. So in terms of looking for information, where do you go? Most people look to Google. They look online. So the main role of charities often provide information. This means that it has to be the top of your search results. So a lot of work has to go into making sure that charities have a good digital presence. This means building and maintaining websites. At the moment, I maintain 4 websites, some of which are small microsites for campaigns. Others are bigger ones that we've had to bring in external people to help us with. I've also worked with specialist teams to design apps that would be used for leaflets and directories, which normally would have been in a physical format. Video is another great way of engaging people and having an issue explained. So having a real person explain their own story can make a huge difference. And as well as for explaining issues for people to understand, it's also a vital tool for charity fundraisers. You're more likely to donate money when you've heard from someone who will directly benefit from the cause. Charities use digital and online tools to influence decision makers in lots of different ways. There are websites that let you set up petitions and reach out to local politicians. Charities have always encouraged people to reach out to their local MP, but with the rise of digital, it's much more public and direct, and it can be really impactful. Social media is another great way to engage people and use a swell of public opinion to make things happen. You can see in the slides our First Minister Nicola Sturgeon supporting HIV Scotland's recent campaign on HIV stigma. A lot of the work was initially done on digital to make noise on social media, and this resulted in a lot of political support. So how did I get to a career in communications with a focus in digital? At school, I studied hires in English, French, history, modern studies, Spanish, and art. And these subjects helped me to learn to write well, to structure arguments, and to understand what was visually interesting. I didn't know I was going to work in this sort of area, and as you can see, I didn't study any type of science, technology, or math subjects. They weren't my interests, and I didn't think that my future career would ever be held back by not doing them, and I was right. After school, I went to university, which let me study things that I didn't even know existed. For me, though, I chose a degree in English language, which is how people speak, the things that influence how we speak, and the history of language. Again, not obviously linked to what I do now. But what these subjects, both at school and at university, taught me was mainly about language and storytelling. English can be a really creative subject, getting you to think about how to tell a story and what makes people want to listen. I also had my first opportunity to conduct interviews. I needed to think about what it was that I wanted to know and how I was able to make people open up to me. At this time at university, I also started volunteering with a student charity, and this was really where my passion came from for working for a cause. It was this experience that made me want to work for a charity. I took on a variety of leadership roles and started to think about what skills I had and what jobs I could apply to them. This decision led to me doing my master's in marketing and event management. I thought it might help me in a good link to fundraising, which I knew that charities did, and I had some experience of doing. I should say, at this point, I didn't know that communications was a real job. I didn't know anything about it. I'd never heard of it. And it wasn't until I went to a graduate talk on careers for English graduates that I found out about it. It wasn't until I started my first job that I realised how much digital was involved with communications. Most of what I learned about digital came from learning on the job and finding things out for myself. I'm always using YouTube and other guides to teach myself how to do something. It's how I learned to create websites, how to make my own GIFs, how to resize images for social media. Someone else has always done it and shared it online. Learning from other people has also been really key. It's often that people you work with have skills you never knew they had. My CEO is a great filmmaker. Other people I've worked with have been amazing photographers. And what I found is that people are really happy to share their experiences with you and help you learn so that you can do it too. At the moment, I work as the only person in my job in my organisation, and that's been the case in a lot of my jobs. So because of this, I really value my networks. I make the most of going to as many training events as I can, conferences and seminars. A lot of the time, it's not just about learning new skills, but meeting new people. Because actually, you never know when you might never know who might be able to help you in the future. And that's the end of it.